Azure Virtual Private Network, VPN, allows for secure connections between trusted private networks and untrusted networks like the internet. This video covers ways to connect to a VPN and some knowledge to help you understand the realm of virtual private networks. The goal of this video is to narrate the Microsoft Learn content, demystify these concepts, add additional information when needed, making concepts easier to comprehend. You can follow along on the Microsoft Learn page. A triangle with MS in the center shows the page number of the Microsoft Learn unit. Today we're going to talk about virtual private networks connecting to VPN, site-to-site VPN, local network gateways, point-to-site VPN, VNet-to-VNet VPN, high availability, and stock keeping units. A VPN gateway is a type of virtual network gateway. Azure VPN gateway instances are deployed in a dedicated subnet of the virtual network and enable the following connectivity. Connect on-premises data centers to virtual networks through a site-to-site connection. Connect individual devices to virtual networks through a point-to-site connection. Connect virtual networks to other virtual networks. All data transfer is encrypted inside a private tunnel as it crosses the internet. You can deploy only one VPN gateway in each virtual network tunnel. You can deploy only one VPN gateway in each virtual network. However, you can use one gateway to connect to multiple locations, which includes other virtual networks or on-premises data centers. When setting up a VPN gateway, you must specify the type of VPN policy or route-based. The primary distinction between the two types is how they determine which traffic needs encryption. Regardless of the VPN type, the authentication method employed is a pre-shared key. Policy-based VPN gateways specify the static IP address of packets that should be encrypted through each tunnel. This device evaluates every data packet against those sets of IP addresses to choose the best tunnel to send the packet. IPsec tunnels are modulated after network or virtual tunnel interfaces in route-based gateways. IP routing, either static routes or dynamic routing protocols, decides which of these tunnel interfaces to use when sending each packet. Route-based VPNs are the preferred connection method for the on-premises device. They're more resilient to topology changes such as creating new subnets. Use a route-based VPN if you need any of the following types of connectivity: connections between virtual networks, point-to-site connections, multi-site connections, and coexistence with an Azure ExpressRoute gateway. A site-to-site VPN connection in Azure establishes a secure and encrypted connection between a virtual network in Azure and an on-premises network via an on-premise VPN device to an Azure VPN gateway. The connection allows seamless and private communications between resources in the Azure cloud and those in the on-premises environment, extending the on-premises network to Azure securely. This type of connection is bidirectional, enabling data to flow securely between the on-premises network and the virtual network in Azure. A local network gateway in Azure is the resource representing the on-premise location, otherwise known as the site, where an Azure Virtual Network gateway connects. It defines the public IP addresses in the address space of the on-premises network. It essentially bridges the Azure Virtual Network and on-premises networks to establish secure, private, and encrypted connections. The local network gateway is sometimes referred to as a VPN appliance. A point-to-site P2S VPN is a secure connection that establishes a virtual private network, VPN, between a single user's device and a virtual network, VNet, in the cloud. This type of VPN enables individual users to securely access resources and services within the cloud infrastructure from remote locations, such as from their home, a public Wi-Fi spot, like Starbucks. It provides a secure and encrypted pathway for connecting individual devices to the cloud network, allowing users to access applications, data, and resources, simulating a direct connection to the VNet. Point-to-site VPNs enable remote access for employees, contractors, or partners, providing a secure way to connect to a private network from various locations. Before we get into the next slide, I realize you may want to protect yourself when browsing online at a public location, and when it comes to that, our sponsor, NordVPN, is an absolute game changer. It provides secure, high-speed VPN access, malware protection, dark web monitoring, and a tracker and ad blocker. NordVPN is an absolute game changer. With the click of a button, you can protect yourself against cyber criminals attempting to steal your data from your laptop and phone. If you want to check their services out for yourself, scan the QR code or click the link in the description below. Again, the link is down below. Clicking the link below helps me make great content for you. A VNet-to-VNet, also known as a virtual network to virtual network connectivity, is a feature in Microsoft Azure that establishes a secure and encrypted connection between different Azure virtual networks. Virtual network to virtual network connectivity is a feature in Microsoft Azure that establishes a secure and encrypted connection between different Azure virtual networks. This capability enables seamless and private communication between resources deployed in separate Azure virtual networks. creating a unified and secure network environment. VNet-to-VNet. VNet-to-VNet connections support multi-region deployments, disaster recovery setups, and cross-tenant collaboration by securely linking virtual networks across different Azure regions. This feature is valuable for organizations seeking to create a cohesive and secure network architecture within the Azure cloud environment, supporting diverse workloads and deployment requirements. High availability scenarios. If you're configuring a VPN to keep your information safe, you also want to be sure that it's highly available in fault-tolerant VPN configuration. There are a few ways to maximize the resiliency of your VPN gateway. Active standby. By default, VPN gateways are deployed as two instances in an active standby configuration. Even if you only see one VPN gateway resource in Azure, when planned maintenance or unplanned disruption affects the active instance, the standby instance automatically assumes responsibility for connections without user intervention. Connections are interpreted during this failover, but they're typically restored within a few seconds for planning maintenance and within 90 seconds for unplanned disruptions. With the introduction of support for the BGP routing protocol, you can also deploy VPN gateways in an active-active configuration. You can assign a unique public IP address to each instance in this configuration. You can then create separate tunnels from the on-premises device to each IP address. You can extend the high availability by deploying additional VPNs. You can then create separate tunnels from the on-premises device to each IP address. You can extend the high availability by deploying an additional VPN device on-premises. When you create a virtual network gateway, you need to select the appropriate gateway SKU that meets your requirements. Gateway SKUs, stock keeping units, refer to the specific service plan or tier associated with the virtual network gateway. These SKUs determine the capabilities, performance, and pricing of the gateway, including factors such as the maximum allowed bandwidth, supporting VPN types, and high availability options. Selecting the appropriate gateway SKU is essential for aligning the gateway's functionality with the networking requirements of the organization, ensuring optimal performance and cost effectiveness. Each gateway SKU typically offers varying levels of features and performance to accommodate different networking needs and workloads. To learn more about the gateway SKUs, including information on supported features, performance tables, configuration steps, and how to choose between production and dev test workloads, be sure to read about the gateway SKUs documentation from Microsoft. In this module, you learned about virtual private networks, some types of VPNs, high availability, and how to choose the correct SKU for performance, capabilities, and price. And I'd like to thank you for watching.